As you can see, it's absolutely correct. The storm clouds are brewing for the Yorkie 15-lap race, and this is really the top level of Formula V racing. We've featured Formula V quite heavily today, and these are the men, the people on the front 2 or 3 rows of the grid are the men who, after qualifying, went straight into this position. The others have to fight through the varying qualifying heats to get onto the grid. So the man who will be on pole position as the cars head off now on their warm-up lap will be a new name, a very new name to Formula V racing this year, and a star with probably a very big future because he's in very exalted company, and that's number 38, Leo Nulty. Alongside him will be Gerry O'Reilly, a champion, a man indeed who just got married recently, and another champion, multiple champion, Padraic Owens on the second row of the grid. And then Mr. Formula V himself, David Shane, making a return to the racetrack. He would be a man that would have retired many times, I think, Brian, and also come back many times, but he's very talented.
Very talented indeed. And on the inside of the next row, we've young Jonathan Taylor, who actually is an instructor at the Mondello School, motor racing school down here in Naas. And he has made his move from driving in the historic class, a very fine MGB, and he's moved into Gerry O'Reilly's 93 car. So Gerry, who actually holds the lap record, Gerry, who's on pole position, 61.5 seconds. Here's the grid for the Yorkie race today. On pole position, 25-year-old Leo Nulty, who's just come from karting, following in the footsteps of Donal Loughlin and Gary O'Brien. Pole position, and definitely one to watch. Right beside him, Gerry O'Reilly. On the next row, with Padraic Owens and David Shane. Then Jonathan Taylor and Ray Moore, Tony Flynn, Paul Newport, Paul Heavey, surprisingly back. He's been racing for 10 years in the V's. Very, very competitive, enjoys his motor racing, so watch out for him. Beside him, we'll have Damien Doherty, who came up from the last qualifier you saw, and David Waters also in. So from there on the grid, we've already seen them race today. So that top 8, they are in the number 1 class of this Formula V, and it is very, very competitive indeed. To have this number of cars out that they can manage to run 3 races in the afternoon shows you the popularity of the most inexpensive. That doesn't mean it's cheap, it's the most inexpensive single-seater class that we have here, Alan.
And once again, the Shane car dominating the grid. It's a Shane 93 that the pole position man Leo Nulty's in. Of course, it's a brand new Shane that David Shane himself is in, the constructor. And Gerry O'Reilly, a man again who on the front row, who has had a lot of experience not only in this but in Formula Ford racing. Somebody hand up there, probably just to signal to the people behind that he's slowing down and going up to take his grid position. On the warm-up lap, it's very important to get your tires warmed up, your brake pads warmed up. It's a little bit of psychology to get yourself settled in. You have a couple of big corners, and then you try and compose yourself now. And believe me, the little heart is thumping at this stage as you roll slowly onto your grid position. There's the man in this Yorkie race, number 38, Leo Nulty, a young man, very young man, who will be looking in his mirrors, checking all his dials. His heart will be thumping, and look, he's got a Gilles Villeneuve look-alike helmet.
Yes, a big fan of the late Gilles Villeneuve, the championship leader out there on the outside of the front row. I should say on the inside of the second row. Padraic Owens at the moment has 113 points in the championship, leading to the second man on the front row, Gerry O'Reilly, 107. So 6 points between them. You can see an absolute full grid, 15 laps, 15 heart-stopping laps of these lads. Once or twice we've had these races stopped due to a little over-enthusiasm, Alan.
And the rain, if it comes, will not help. There are very dark clouds overhead. They will be very well aware of that. We're seconds to go. We're off. Leo Nulty looked to make a very good start indeed. And I think he's certainly got the inside line, but I think he's got the advantage as they come down to Coca-Cola Bend. He locks it up a little bit, and Gerry O'Reilly has to get out of the way a bit there. But he's gone through, I think, in the lead, indeed he has.
Yes, that's one way of doing it. He locked up, Gerry just got out of the way thinking maybe he'd go on straight, but no, got it turned, and look at Gerry O'Reilly in the background deciding we're going to have a go. And number 12 there, Padraic Owens, Gerry and Padraic, two of the most experienced men out here, and a super little manoeuvre there from Ray Moore around the outside. But at the moment, Leo Nulty getting everything his own way because they're falling over each other in second and third. So it's O'Reilly and Padraic Owens really having a go, but locking wheels as they get light coming into the corner. You can see Owens on the outside trying to do a dive manoeuvre, and he gets up into that third place safely, and he's setting his sights now on Gerry O'Reilly. So looking at the inside line, Nulty will not be intimidated by this as they come up the hill. Number 2 there, Gerry O'Reilly, 2 and 3 abreast as they go around Dunlop. 2 spinners. I see in the background there, number 6, Peter Panama, got caught up in that spin. So 3 cars in the team, and the storm clouds are beginning to release some of the moisture. But look at O'Reilly down the outside. He doesn't want to leave that door too wide open because Padraic Owens will nip into that second place. And all this is to the advantage of Leo Nulty, 25-year-old out in front, ex-Carter, and really getting the head down. He's hoping that the second place man and the third place man will stay at it, that Owens will keep Gerry O'Reilly busy, because if the rains come, he will need every little advantage he has.
And you're looking at serious talent here amongst these guys. They may not be able to afford the top levels of motor racing here in Ireland, but believe me, they're excellent drivers. Padraic Owens has proved his speed over and over again. Gerry Riley has proved both his style and speed for many years. He's a farmer from Navan and thoroughly enjoys his motor racing. There he is in second place, and these 3 now beginning to pull away. There's a sort of second group forming, headed by Ray Moore in the background there.
And Owens has just nipped up the inside under braking there. It's getting slightly slippy, a little bit of rain falling. So the man from Navan, who has gone to Pembrey in the UK and won numerous races, but Gerry O'Reilly not giving up there. It was side by side as they went down into Coca-Cola Glen, but Padraic Owens holding that inside line, and Ray Moore just nipping into 4th place there, very close indeed. So the second place has changed. We have a new second place man, Padraic Owens, and these 2, and somebody in the sand trap there, one of the qualifiers from the previous race.
Brian Harty it is, Brian Harty from Dundalk. And I think we saw him.
And that was an absolutely superb manoeuvre as we looked at that, was that he came down Owens and just drove around the outside of Leo Nulty to take the lead. Now it's slightly slippy down there. Nulty probably being cautious, but look at the lead. Padraic Owens, a master in the wet weather. He just came down as they came in and just snipped by him, dropped a gear and out, and look at the lead he has. Absolutely superb.
So Gerry O'Reilly there we were looking at in 3rd place. Now he's going to challenge Nulty, I think, but not this time. And O'Reilly is sort of wasting a bit of time on the outside of both this corner and indeed down in Coca-Cola. He's left himself a little bit vulnerable, but this time he's really attacking. But he's not in a great position as he comes down to Coca-Cola here.
Padraic Owens there using all the track, just flicking it, and remember it's slightly slippy out there. Nulty keeping that inside door firmly closed, and while these 2 are battling, Owens is delighted with their progress because he is progressing into the distance. Again, Gerry O'Reilly looking at the outside, a wheel on the grass there, Leo Nulty just holding off, and that's the manoeuvre Padraic Owens pulled and just nipped by as they got side by side coming down into the fastest part of the circuit.
Brian, you will remember as well as I do, that was the manoeuvre invented by the late Ayrton Senna here at Mondello. He was the first man we ever saw do that, and in fact I never saw it repeated until about a year ago in this class.
These guys really tried. 10 years ago, the late Ayrton Senna came and dominate Formula 4 2000, but this is the battle at the moment in the top class of Formula V for the Yorkshire Championship, and our leader, Padraic Owens, who was on the inside of the second row, just ploughing away into the distance, and this is the battle for second place, and they're beginning to bunch up now. We have Gerry O'Reilly, second place man, then Nulty, then a serious battle in the back.
And a change of place there. I think Damien Doherty went up a place, number 29. He slipped through. He was the man who won the Tedcastle race earlier. So Damien Doherty now really figuring in the Yorkie Championship race. And there's our leader. And Padraic Owens, they don't come any more experienced in V racing than this man, or indeed any more talented. He has done giant killing performances on the hills and on the circuits throughout Ireland, and he is very much in command here at the moment. But the weather may yet play a very significant part in this race.
It's Gerry O'Reilly just getting a little break there from Nulty. Nulty under pressure from Damien Doherty as he just has a look at the inside of the second part of the S's there. A little slippy out there. Maybe Nulty's car maybe not quite set up for the slippy conditions. He's looking at at the outside to try and come back around, but still this high-speed train as they took in. But Doherty looking at the outside line, Nulty with the head down as they come down the straight side by side, heading for Coca-Cola, and just drive straight by him. Now the next place man is looking at that is Ray Moore in the green car on the outside. Nulty have a problem, Alan?
He must have a problem. He's fallen back dramatically now the last couple of laps. He was having no difficulty really in the early laps of holding his pole position and holding in the lead, but he's been swallowed up now. It's looking too easy for these others. Ray Moore not finding it just so easy now though to get past him. So that's the green car, number 3 there, under pressure now to try and get past 38 Leo Nulty.
Well, Gerry O'Reilly certainly got the head down and pulling away. I wonder, can he do anything about our leader, Padraic Owens? That's Damien Doherty, who's moved up a place as well. There's Padraic Owens, and yes, he is. The man is definitely beginning to put the welly in, as they say. Gerry O'Reilly hasn't given up yet. Padraic Owens may yet have a battle on his hands.
It's only 2.2 seconds between these two. We're keeping an eye on that gap, and it's visibly coming down. The clock will tell us now the gap as they go across the start-finishing line. On the last lap we said it was 2.2, and I'm sure it's less than that now. And so we've got two real past double champions here battling it out at the head of this Yorkie race, and this could be very good news indeed for the viewers.
Padraic Owens will know who that blue and yellow car is. He'll know
Brian, sorry, 1.3 seconds now.
So nearly a half a second that time Gerry O'Reilly pulled out of it. And a little bit of sunshine coming. The rain has stopped, so we might get a dry line. At the moment it is still Padraic Owens. Gerry O'Reilly absolutely on the limit, braking there as they come down into the S. There's a lot of smoke there, but as we said before, disregard the smoke from the VWs. They little bit smoky at time. That is the gap. Damien Doherty, a superb drive. Remember, he was on the 4th place. Ray Moore now up into 4th. So they are really pulling themselves up from the original qualifier. Doherty, remember, coming from the Ted Castle. Lost the bodywork. He can't see where he's going. Puts the hand up and sends it away. Everybody in the pit lane running for cover. That's the 3rd place man, Damien Doherty there. The blue car. He's getting through the left-hander there. That's our lead, and this is the battle is on, Alan.
Big way, in a big way, and one can again only presume that maybe Padraic Owens now has a problem, because there's a lot of smoke from both of them, and that's can be fairly normal, as we've said before, in these VWs. So a big battle for them, and another interesting development too is Damien Doherty, I think, is possibly closing on both these.
And watch it in the background there, number 55 just catches the back wheel. Bodywork gets up. You see the driver put up his hand. He's on side at the moment, just puts it up and gets it back. That's Lone Rockery gone, but back with our leaders, and this is a serious battle to develop. What a superb drive from Gerry O'Reilly. Must have been 20, 30 car lengths behind.
Just had a glance at his pit board there, but he must know very well. Half distance now in this Yorkie race, 15 laps, a long race, tiring, very physical to drive these single-seaters, physically, both mentally and literally physically, and he's putting big pressure on his arch rival, Padraic Owens there. Owens, who, like Gerry O'Reilly, has spent a bit of time in Formula Ford racing, the other single-seater class, but returned here to the more cost-effective VWs.
Yes, just holding the centre of the road there, Padraic Owens, letting Gerry O'Reilly do all the work, moving left to right, just holding that station, not leaving the door open on the inside as they come down to the S's. Again, you will know exactly where O'Reilly is, if there's room from on the inside. Again, losing it slightly there, losing it ever so slightly. Gerry O'Reilly losing it slightly. It's raining, although the sun is a little sun shower we're having, and it's getting slippy. Late braking there from O'Reilly. That isn't going to help his case. And Owens again, the cool, clean-cut hero from Navan as he wakes his way down the straight, head down. You can see just a little spots of rain there. It hasn't really come down heavy. 5 laps to go.
And I'm really looking at this man Doherty. He's undoubtedly closing in. It's going to be a 3-corner battle very shortly. It was 2.18 seconds on the previous lap when they crossed the line. It's very much less than that now. And there he is, 29, just coming into picture in the background. And indeed, well, it's much the same, 2.18. He's just kept that gap constant on that lap. So he didn't gain on that particular lap, but undoubtedly he's closing in.
Now the rain beginning to come down. Remember, this man started 10th. You can see the rain now. This will sort the men out from the boys. Doherty started 10th on the grid, way back, and he's threaded his way through a few little melees on that first corner where 2 spun out. He gained 2 places. A lot of smoke there from Padraic Owens' car, but it could be spray. But we are getting heavy rain, and this will just make life a lot more difficult for
Look
them.
what happens when you get the rain, Brian. Padraic Owens pulls out a lead again. This man is a master in these conditions. But it also seems to be suiting Damien Doherty, who's closing right in now on Gerry O'Reilly there in 2nd place.
Gerry be no slouch in the rain either. I'd say he's just taking a little breather with 4 laps to go. Doesn't want to over-exert himself. He can just make a wrong move, block a wheel and go in too deep. But these 3 should be bunched up after the next 2 laps. Doherty there, up from 10th place, now in 3rd place. Our championship man, Owens, out front with 113 points. 2nd place man, the championship, there he is, Gerry O'Reilly, with 107 points, and 3rd place in the championship, Damien Doherty with 95 points. So they've all got it to drive for.
So Dundalk man leading, just a Kells man with a Ballymena man in the background, not very far in the background there, as the laps begin to run out in this Yorkie race. They're coming down now. They will have 3 laps to go when they come to complete this particular one. A 15-lap race, and once again O'Reilly gets aggressive. 26 got over aggressive, I'm afraid. That's David Waters, who had been figuring very well earlier on in the day. Look at this. Now it's side by side.
Side by side. Somebody getting a naughty boy flag there, I think. But they're side by side. I think number 18 getting a naughty boy flag, we think. 12 and 2 side by side. Gerry O'Reilly still not giving up. Up the hill that time. He got Owens right over in his full 4-wheel slide as they come out. But Doherty closing up in the background. These 3 bunching up. Padraic Owens just sitting there, comes down the middle of the road, out to the side, quick look in the mirror, says you're not close enough, so he'll use all the road as they turn into Bridgestone.
Damien Doherty there, ready to pick up the pieces should they disintegrate in front of him. But Padraic Owens is going to be a hard man to take with the laps running out now. He really is experienced. He will be not glancing too much in the mirror. That's a fatal mistake. You really just get on with the business. You take the odd glance when you do. Damien got a little bit sideways there, but he caught it beautifully. He's lost a little bit of ground, though. He was almost right with them, and obviously it's very slippy in that part of the course. It's very difficult because it's quite dry here.
There's the rain coming in across the corridor, just pumping its way down onto the exit from the S's, and that is a slippy spot. You've got to be very quick to pick it up down the straight. Getting out of Dunlop, Gerry O'Reilly seems to have plenty of grip, and he can pull up on them as they come down. Again, Owens holding that inside line as Gerry O'Reilly closes in on him with 3 laps to go. There's our leaders, and there we go. It's still Owens. Owens closing that door on the inside. Gerry O'Reilly trying to find a way by as they motor down. A lot of smoke, disregard the smoke. Both of them are equally as smoky. Losing out slightly there, Gerry O'Reilly, but again under braking to the S's. This is where it's quite slippy from the rain. Down, leaving a gap on the inside, but O'Reilly just isn't close enough to take any advantage. Just as you exit the S's here, it's quite slippy. Nothing there that time, out onto the edge of the curbs. Now you see Owens moving straight across to close that inside line and make it long and hard for Gerry O'Reilly. He can't get across the back foot, keeping him out there again. He'll head for the inside. These 2 playing cat and mouse. Obviously O'Reilly gets a slingshot out of this corner, Alan. Can he do anything at the end of this straight?
And we seem to have lost Damien Doherty out of this chase for the meantime anyway, but believe me, these 2 will be really enjoying this dice. This is what they love doing. They're highly skilled young men. They do motor racing purely for pleasure, of course, at this club level, and they are enjoying every second of this, as indeed we are.
Yes, Padraic Owens just sitting there, quick glance in the mirror, see where his old adversary Gerry O'Reilly is. And Gerry knows all Padraic's moves, and Padraic knows all Gerry's moves, so can they dream up something new coming down to the S's again? This is really down. A lot of smoke, keeping it in tight there, keeping that door closed. Again, just as the cars turn, a little bit of smoke from it, not to worry. Out again, he'll move to the right, keep the door well and truly closed, making Gerry go the long way, but one of these times he might just leave his braking slightly late. They exit again, inside door open but nicely closed, just holding the center of it, and they're starting their last lap now. Can Gerry O'Reilly do anything about this man, Padraic Owens, up front?
Owens, O'Reilly, that's the way it is fractionally at the moment. Don't get those wheels intertwined. That's the dangerous thing in single-seaters. Oh, that's just what's happened, but it's not too serious. But I think that could have been the deciding move in the race. Gerry O'Reilly's really got a lot to do now, but look at this man. Damien Doherty's coming into the picture. Behind them, it's Taylor Heavey Moore, but that's nothing to do with these three. It's a three-corner battle to the flag, and it's really anybody's race.
It's a pity Doherty wasn't just a little bit closer when they locked wheels that time. He might have gained a much better advantage, but back down again, just got it side by side. It wasn't a great place to try the maneuver. He needed just a few more feet, but that's what always happens. But they still haven't given up. They have one last one to go. Owens will head for the left-hand side of the road to keep the door firmly closed. O'Reilly up the outside. A flick in the background. Doherty watching to see what will happen. The wheels interlocked again, heading for the grass, but no, can he get that inside line? Owens holds it. It looks like it's Owens. All three together as they cross the line. What a superb finish.
They don't come any closer than that, but it's Padraic Owens who will get the laurel wreath. He's the man that really justly deserves it. O'Reilly really tried every manoeuvre that he possibly could, but it didn't come off, and Damien Doherty would be well pleased with his fight up through the field.
There's a possibility that Doherty might just have got the nose in there flat. This is the last corner. Owens holding that inside line, making O'Reilly go around the long way. They keep it out. He lets it go out. No touching there. He changes direction, O'Reilly. So does Owens. But all the time in the background, watch Doherty. He's coming down that inside line. O'Reilly has moved out just as they're coming to the line. He dives to the left just as it comes. Will he make it? No, it's O'Reilly second and Doherty third.
So there he is, a man who will be relaxing and no doubt grinning from ear to ear. He would really be pleased with himself after that one, and he's every reason to be. Be great. They're great friends, all the people within the Formula V Association, and there will be a few pints at the bar afterwards and great discussions of this one. And this is about as close. This really was the deciding factor. In fact, Gerry O'Reilly did very well to recover himself after this manoeuvre. He held on to the car well there. He didn't lose much time, and then he had to really, after that little fright, get himself together and bring back the challenge again. So, superb stuff. There's Padraic Owens, having no doubt been congratulated by his teammates and being directed now by the officials of the Leinster Motor Club to go round to the area for the presentation. And we'll get a chance now to see this man without his helmet. Big, tall, lean gentleman he is too. A large frame coming out of that little Shane Formula V, and I'm sure the first person probably to come up and congratulate him will be Gerry O'Reilly.
Yes, two great pals. I don't think there was anything in that. They just got it close. They touched wheels. Here's Gerry coming up. Superb race for all 15 laps, and Gerry making his way up. The officials, the Leinster Motor Club, did a superb job with today. Timekeeping was brilliant, on time. It's hard when weather conditions are as they were, because the rain obviously slows the races down slightly. So you have a situation that if you get a wet race, you've got to allow yourself that little bit of time in the program to catch up. But no doubt, that's definitely one of the best races I've seen for a long time. 3 cars covered by about 10-12 feet after 15 laps. Little bit of rain in the middle of it, then it dried. Then we had the sunshine. Absolutely superb, Alan. This is what Formula V racing is all about.
Yeah, they dealt with it very well, and the experienced men really came to the fore. Padraic Owens, of course, not only a former double V champion, but also winner of the Dunlop Motorsport Award, which goes to the person who is the most successful in the year.